Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I was sort of awaiting what news was going to be coming out of WWE's Comic-Con appearance today. In the past few years, 2011, we were all shocked by WWE making a major stance at Comic-Con with CM Punk showing up and confronting Triple H with the WWE Championship that he'd won at Money in the Bank, and basically saying that he didn't have a champion because he had the championship belt and he pulled it out of his bag. This was a major viral video for WWE, which really helped out SummerSlam that year when CM Punk made his return to take on John Cena in the main event. Of course, last year, Sting, who I don't believe was advertised to be making an appearance, just showed up during the Mattel Q&A. He was out there with, I believe, Daniel Bryan and Hulk Hogan, and both of these guys were shocked. Hulk Hogan, verbally, called Sting out for pulling this on him and basically saying that if he was going to be there, he should have let him know. And I think it really shocked everybody because we were all waiting for when WWE and Sting were going to make this first sort of merge together, and I don't know if there was a contract that was signed at that point, but I believe that's also when they announced that Sting was going to be a big part of the WWE video game that was going to be coming out. So lots of major announcements. This year we had NXT sort of as the main focus at Comic-Con. NXT sort of the hot commodity of WWE right now. There they had Kevin Owens, Finn Bálor, Sami Zayn, Charlotte, William Regal was there, the NXT commissioner, and the big announcement that was made was by General Manager William Regal, who announced that at the NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn show, Kevin Owens was going to be taking on Finn Bálor in the rematch from the Beast in the East show. This is when Kevin Owens will be getting his rematch to go after the NXT Championship. Honestly, in my mind, the first thing that I came after hearing this news was I thought Kevin Owens basically was going to take out his frustrations on losing the NXT Championship John Cena at Battleground. Honestly, with the United States Championship being put up on the line, honestly, I was thinking that Kevin Owens was a lock to win the U.S. title by beating John Cena. This for, springboarding his WWE career. But will we see, John Cena helping put over a new talent, much like he did with Rusev, and then beating the man into submission, making it where there's no room for anyone to get over? Please, do not let WWE make this mistake. There's no way in the world why John Cena should be beating Kevin Owens at Battleground. But then again, if, Kevin Owens is going to be a big part of SummerSlam weekend, wrestling at the SummerSlam show as the United States champion, would they really book him to wrestle 2 nights in a row? I know that these guys wrestle house shows, they wrestle television, they wrestle pay-per-views all the time, but this being a WWE Network special, more than likely, with this being booked at the Barclays Center in this major basketball arena, my thoughts is that it has to be, especially with the TakeOver name. I know that it's not on its normal night. This is going to be on a Saturday, which is going to make it seem like it's on an even bigger, scale. But it's kind of weird for me to think that Kevin Owens is going to be taking his United States Championship and bringing it back to NXT. I know that his title is not going to be on the line. They're only going to be going after the NXT Championship, but it's kind of weird for me. I thought it was a lock that Kevin Owens was going to be winning the championship at Battleground, and now I'm a little bit, I don't even know to say if it's a lock anymore. With John Cena and Rusev, John Cena let Rusev get the win at Fastlane with Lana coming into the ring. Rusev snuck over behind the ref's back, gave him the shot in the nuts, and then gave him the super kick to the head, knocking him out for the 1, 2, 3. And then was WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, and whatever was the last show, Payback maybe, I can't really remember, but they made Rusev pay for that one victory. They made him lose 3 times in a row. I know he's injured, but right now he's involved in a storyline with Dolph Ziggler and the breakup of Lana, and it doesn't really seem like it's really going anywhere. Kevin Owens is a very special commodity to WWE right now. He's a guy that came into WWE with a whole lot of steam. He shot through NXT about as fast as anyone's ever done it. He came from Ring of Honor almost... It seems like he went exactly to the main roster. I don't even think he spent a year in NXT. It's been a long time since anybody's been able to do this. A lot of people have thought that Sami Zayn is one of the best wrestlers down there in the NXT thing. And then, for so long, he's been the lock to be the first guy that gets called up. And he's been down there. And I know he's injured right now, but it doesn't seem like, there's anything to come out of there, too soon, because you've already got Neville, you've already got... Bo Dallas, you've already got Adam Rose, you've already got Kevin Owens. It seems like it's jam-packed with new guys at the main roster, but I know that WWE is trying to pump some new blood into Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. A lot of fans are saying the one reasons that they're falling out of love in wrestling or not thinking that it's must-see television is because, we see these guys fight so many times, so we need to have new guys in there to sort of circulating what's going on. But with this big match being named for NXT TakeOver, it makes me think about John Cena going up against Kevin Owens at Battleground. I wonder what's going to be happening, and we'll see. Big match, NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn, Kevin Owens against Finn Bálor. Hey, what up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you, talking about the big changes coming to the NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn, coming SummerSlam weekend. We had known for a while that the main event of the show was going to be Kevin Owens going up against Finn Bálor for the NXT Championship. Of course, this is going to be the rematch for Finn Bálor winning the NXT title at the Beast in the East pay-per-view live from Japan. Of course, that happened 4th of July early in the morning if you were here in the United States. And honestly, I think everyone that's a WWE fan saw that show. That was something that everybody really stayed up for. And in my mind, and as well as a lot of other people's minds, this was the main event of that show. Dolph Ziggler and John Cena in that tag match against Barrett and Kane might have gone on last. But honestly, in my mind, if you went to sleep after Kevin Owens versus Finn Bálor, you won that night. You didn't miss anything from that tag match. But now they're making the match between Finn Bálor and Kevin Owens a ladder match. Honestly, in my mind, I think there's a lot of people out there who might not know a lot about Kevin Owens wrestling in the indies for Ring of Honor as well as PWG. Kevin Owens is a very good ladder match worker. Of course, in Ring of Honor, they call it Ladder Wars. If you go back and you watch the 2007 Man Up show, it's the Briscoe brothers going up against Kevin Steen and El Generico. This is on one of the Briscoe brothers' greatest hits, as well as on one of the Kevin Steen best ofs. I mean, this is one of the best matches in ROH history that really puts it on the map. And then, as well as when Kevin Steen and El Generico broke up years later, when Kevin Steen was wrestling as the champion at Final Battle 2012, El Generico, who really wasn't even with the Ring of Honor at the time, made his return to come back to Ring of Honor and fight at Ladder War 4 at Final Battle 2012 in one of the best matches that I've ever seen. Kevin Steen versus El Generico. Of course, this is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Was one of the best wrestling rivalries in wrestling history. It might not have been on the grandest stage of them all as in WWE or even in WCW or TNA, but if you go back and you watch the Kevin Owens sets, especially the Descent into Madness, I believe is what it's called. I believe it's I think it's the third. I think they have the one that I don't have. They have the one as the tag team, and then they have the one that's basically the Generico feud. It might be the second, it might be the third. It's all this sort of build up to Kevin Steen and El Generico breaking up as a tag team, Kevin Steen, turning heel, the whole angle of Steen versus Generico. It's some of the best wrestling, and it comes up to Final Battle 2010, where Steen loses to Generico in a loser leaves town match, and this is what led Kevin Steen to be gone for Ring of Honor for, I think it was like 9 or 10 months he was gone. And of course, this plays a lot into the backstage things that was going on with Jim Cornette. And Jim Cornette didn't even want to make the main event of the show be Steen versus Generico. Ended up being that Steen versus Generico at Final Battle ended up being a unsanctioned match, so they could still call, I believe, the Davey Richards match the main event of the night. Just a whole bunch of stuff that spills over into the Kevin Steen shoot interview on the I can't remember what the name of that one is, but it's another ROH best of, and it has an awesome interview with Kevin Steen on there. But Kevin Owens is a damn good ladder match worker. It's going to be a great match, I'm sure. Even if you go and you watch from PWG, I believe it's from Steenwolf, where it's Generico versus Steen, even in the small building in Reseda that I'll be in for Bola 2015. Generico and Steen have a great match, even though the ceiling is like feet off of the ground. I'm sure that if one of them stood in the ring, they could jump up and grab it. They actually put the belt through the air conditioning vent, and when Generico pulls it down to get the wind, the vent comes down out of the ceiling, and I guess we really tore the roof off the place. In my mind, honestly, when it comes down to it, I think that this match is a little bit weird. I know that you need a main event because you're trying to make this seem like it's a major event that's going to be held in the Barclays Center, the same place that's going to hold SummerSlam the next night, and you don't want it to be empty. You don't want to have it be where NXT doesn't live up to what the show was at WrestleMania or what the show was when they were in Cleveland. You want to have fans there, and you don't want it to you don't want it to look indie as well. I mean, Triple H has really made it to where NXT is as a secondary brand, even if it's looked at as sort of like the minor leagues. For the people who watch it, we love it. And for the people who don't watch it, I don't know why you're not watching it. I mean, it's a 1 hour show. When you do the specials, that's 2 hours. But, I mean, this is some of the best wrestling that's on every week, and it's only an hour. You don't have to worry about Raw. You don't have to worry about SmackDown. A lot of these people are debuting, and I'm sure there's a lot of buzz about all these guys, whether if it's Neville having great matches against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens having great matches against John Cena. You've got the whole Divas Revolution going on with Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch coming up and joining into the Divas division and really turning that around. So I don't know, man. I have told myself the last few times I've watched this special that these would be meaning even more to me if I watched NXT regularly on Wednesday nights, and honestly, I haven't been keeping up with it as much as I should be, and now that I'm realizing it's Wednesday as I'm making this video right now, I probably need to turn NXT on tonight. So, in my mind, Finn Bálor is still going to win this match. I think that it's going to make it, honestly, a little bit more exciting. I'm, liking the fact that you have a number one contenders match next week on NXT, which is going to be Bayley versus Becky Lynch. The winner of that match is going to get a chance to go after Sasha Banks' NXT championship. I'm sure that that's going to be Bayley getting the win there in my mind. But honestly, if they did do Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks the night before SummerSlam, that sort of feeds into what's going on Monday Night Raw as well. But Bayley has been tweeting a lot about her steps to regaining credibility in the Divas or women's division. They don't call it Divas division in NXT, but she hasn't really been there. I know she did get injured, but she got built up. She was the number one contender to win up against Charlotte. Charlotte crushed her. This was probably about a year ago, and she's never really been the same since then. Also at TakeOver is going to be the Vaudevillains going up against Blake and Murphy. I don't know what happened to Enzo and Kaz. When you watch the show for months, they were built up as big stars. They sort of were like the number one contenders. out of the middle of nowhere, they lost one match, and now they're nowhere in the tag team division. The Vaudevillains, who seemed like they were breaking up a month ago, are now the #1 contenders. It doesn't seem like they got injured. I don't know what happened to make them cool those guys off so much. It seemed like they were one of the most over acts in NXT, even though I don't really get it. But we'll have to see what goes down. Kevin Owens going up against Finn Bálor, NXT title ladder match. It's going to be different. It's going to be fun. Of course, at the first NXT special, it was Adrian Neville beating Bo Dallas for the NXT Championship. That was a ladder match. That was a ton of fun. And for people that were watching NXT for the first time, it definitely put Neville on the map for a lot of people. And, him wrestling in these great matches against Seth Rollins. I believe this is the second time. They might have snuck in a SmackDown match that I hadn't seen. But the second time that they've had a great match on Monday Night Raw that really surprised a lot of people. Many people were surprised by Kevin Owens being named as the main event at the NXT TakeOver show in Brooklyn. But, when it comes down to it, this was the main building. It's the same building that they're going to be running for SummerSlam, being the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. So they needed to find a way to sell this thing out. I think that WWE didn't want to be embarrassed by their first show being run in a major arena for NXT, not being a huge number. So, putting Kevin Owens into this match against Finn Bálor as a rematch for the NXT Championship, of course, that was decided at the Beast in the East show in Japan, is the right way to go. I think that making the decision to name the match live from Comic-Con, which had a big NXT feel with Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Finn Bálor, Sami Zayn, Charlotte, all being in attendance. I think that basically WWE is trying to realize what Comic-Con is and what it does to spark interest in something. If you think about the last few Comic-Cons, you've had Sting making his first real appearance for WWE. You've had CM Punk showing up and confronting Triple H, things that really went wildfire on social media. And when William Regal announced the main event for the NXT TakeOver show in Brooklyn, that was something that shot news through all forms of social media as fast as possible live from there. But I think that Kevin Owens versus Finn Bálor really did deliver on the Beast in the East show. It was a great match. I think that it was the driving force for that show. It was the real main event. Everybody knew that Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston was going to be a squash match. Everyone knew that the main event of John Cena and Dolph Ziggler going up against Kane and Wade Barrett had no business being on that show and didn't even deserve being in the main event slot. The people that went to bed after the Finn Bálor and Kevin Owens match, those are the people that won out. Those are the people that basically they got the extra 30 minutes of sleep, a 30-minute tag match as the main event of that show. And when it really came down to it, Finn Bálor becoming the NXT champion was the story of that show. It was possibly the real reason why it was being held in Japan and why it was being shown live on the WWE network. But these guys going in and having a ladder match is going to be a really big deal. Finn Bálor has really stepped up his momentum. I guess you can say that his aggressiveness in his feud against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is coming out of the back and attacked this guy more than once, trying to get that NXT championship back. Kevin Owens has been a big part of the main roster, having feuds against John Cena, going up at SummerSlam the night after NXT, wrestling Cesaro. Definitely that's a match that has a great place to steal a great part of SummerSlam and become a great match that people think about for a long time. But this is going to be a fun one. The ladder match, honestly, in my mind, doesn't really add anything to it. I think that honestly, when it comes down to it, I would rather have just a normal match. But if you go back and watch Kevin Owens' ladder matches, whether it be from PWG or from Ring of Honor, he's been a guy who has really great ladder wars. And I think that him and Finn are going to be able to add the ladders to that match and be able to build something that people are really going to remember. Of course, Finn Bálor will be painted all up in the demon figure, and we're off to the races, honestly, in my mind. I think everybody has seen pictures online. But I think Finn Bálor is going to win this match. I think that it's just a way to keep Kevin Owens on NXT. Keep him a part of the live brand whenever he's not a part of WWE house shows. I'm sure that he'd be a part of the bigger NXT shows. Maybe he'll be even coming to Sacramento in October for the Aftershock show, where NXT is going to be wrestling 2 shows in 2 nights, being a part of a big music festival here. Of course, they have Finn Bálor, they have Samoa Joe, they have Bailey. I think they took Sasha Banks off of the poster. She was on it at first, but it's gonna be a great fun time, and I'm really looking forward to this NXT takeover. I'm taking Finn in the main event. Who you guys got? It's gonna be a great night. Peace out, everybody.